Hi everybody, Corrie Thorne, the spiritual healer, coming in, just realizing I don't even know if I've combed my hair today. I am officially on a few days off over the Christmas season, taking some time to finish up writing out these cards. So I have now got a bunch of the writings done. I'm writing on the back of the cards. Plus, just want to say, also got a bunch. This is how the sketches start. This is how my work starts. I channel through these messages. This is artistic as I am. And then it goes to my amazing artist, Amelia Richard, who I'm giving a big shout out to. And she then does this kind of work. So this is the new coming of the new oracle cards for 2021. They are the everyday, it's from the shadows, the everyday goddess. And so I'm just giving them beautiful names. And so if you have a beautiful name of an everyday goddess that you maybe that may make its way into here, give me a shout out. I've added a few in here of the everyday goddesses of women over the years who have, in one way or the other, have impacted, influenced, or inspired me in some way. And not all always in the best of ways. No, I'm joking. But it's like, so I just, from how I've had spent so many years working with women, and today I'm recording this on the winter solstice. I'm recording during the conjunction of the Jupiter and Saturn into the Christmas, into what they call the Christmas star, which I have come to understand from a lot of reading, a lot of studying, a lot of also doing some scientific stuff that I watch. I'm a real nerd. Um, was that they truly aren't sure exactly what the Christmas star would have been. But for us, for how we resonate with it, this was happening at the time. So this is how we resonated, how we connected. Sorry, we connected into that was happening at the time in the astrology, and the planets were aligning in this conjunction back 2000 years ago, back 800 years ago, into that Aquarius energy as well, I believe it is. I'm not an astrologer. And so, but I also know that every 20 years, I think it is, that we get this conjunction, this joined together energy. And so we have a sense of, with the winter solstice, is that it's that whole, where this is like the darkest days, like the longest, the darkest day of the year is right now upon us. And what I'm feeling like for this channeled message for this week is, and I'm going to stay in the light of this, but really deal with the truth of this, is that we do get, we do get caught up in the hype of excitement and the awe of when we see something spectacular, and it reminds us of to be hopeful, and to kind of try to start climbing back on to the faith train if we have fallen off. So if you have recently fallen off your sense of faith, losing faith in society, losing faith in people, losing faith in yourself, that this energy today, I really truly have been channeling through from such an amazing, beautiful place, from a divine presence. It was just telling us that we will experience darker days. We will have to go through those days, but our seeds of hope, our seeds of life, our dreams and desires are still planted out there. But we also don't want to spend our life, being attached to a specific outcome. So if we get caught in the energy of the age of Aquarius, the way we've seen it in movies, or the way that we start to imagine ahead, like we're going to live in this la la land and everything's going to be perfectly fine. Well, no one has said that. That's not really said, but we start to create that, and we create that environment. But if you take a look back, we have constantly been getting better. We really have. We have been improving. Have all areas of the world been improving? No. There's been a lot of stagnant, stay the same energy based on belief systems, and based on conditioning. And this is where more than existing comes in, was, we had to I had to make a choice to move beyond the old beliefs that I held so tight, that held me captive to past stories. And right now, where we are is that whole ability to rise above the fear stories, to rise above what has held us captive, and to also recognize that we also have to acknowledge that not everybody is going to be on board on your happy train, on your faith train. Now that the world may feel like it's more in alignment to you, to where you are, to that Aquarius energy, is that not everybody's going to be able to just hop out of their grief or fall out of the energy that they were in prior, or to be able to leave behind, um, being able to leave behind that that place that they were in, of if they are in a pain story, or they're going through their grief process, is we're being reminded that we are also here to hold the light. So, as a light worker, I spend a lot of time holding the light for people that don't have the strength and courage right now at this present moment to hold themselves. And so I do help hold the light. And so instead of being a unhealthy influence upon people, or to be judgmental of people, or to be resentful, or to be in that energy, this is a very good time to start to shift that energy towards how can I be how can I be of service to somebody today who's not able to hold this light? And this is a difficult time of the year. And as much as it was a beautiful time of the year, if you look at the story from all sides, I'm sure even for Mother Mary, as she was going through experiencing the birth, and Joseph, that this was not an easy experience or an easy time for them. And as much as there's a huge celebration around that birth of Jesus in Christianity, and there's that birth of, our beautiful healer who would have walked upon earth, is that we look at all the good stuff, right? We want to see all the good stuff, but there's stored inside memories, and the muscle memory of those, of the also the challenges. And this doesn't mean, so what I'm saying is that this doesn't mean that everybody's challenges are about to end. But I live on the faith train. Do I fall? Yes. But I believe in magic and miracles. And I believe this is a time when beautiful magic and miracles are being bestowed upon us in so many ways. But we sometimes have to remember that in our joy of celebrating, we forget that other people are still not able to celebrate, and they are not there. And that we have to, as much as we wanted people to accept us when we were, when, if we're not in a good place, or if we're upset, now you also have to be a little more understanding and compassionate for people who may be on the flip side, may be on the other side. And that because your light may be feeling like you're being inspired, then maybe you can inspire somebody else today. Maybe you can be that light. Maybe you can help somebody else believe in the magic and miracles. Maybe you can hold a space for somebody who's got to sit home, and like many of us can, not visit most of us can't go visit family. Like I can't see my family who are in Newfoundland, who I haven't seen now in several years. And it's wonderful for politicians or anyone to get on the news, or broadcasters to get on and just tell people, just make the best of those situations. Just, but what if you have somebody on the other side that this may be your last opportunity to see them, because you're not going to get that time? So you have to have compassion for people, that where they are in their story. And if they're in the midst of their story, and they're not at the end, and they're not at the finish line, they're not looking at it at the happy ending, they're not able to be there yet. So we can go to the happy endings of our stories, and we can look at those, and we can use that as jet fuel. We can use that to inspire others of, there's always a, there is at the end, in the darkness, there is always light. And finding the light in the darkness helps get us through, because there is going to be that finish line. There is going to be that rebirth. There is going to be that new beginning. And I know sometimes people say, well, how come, this is, how come you're not saying this, or you're saying that? Well, I'm a channel. I'm a mystic. I have the sense of the raw realness of what is being witnessed, what is being, not of what is being experienced by us all the time, but what is being witnessed as we are being observed from a whole realm, a whole dimension, like dimensions outside of us. So there's a whole world that lives outside of us, including the spirit world. And we are being, you know, we are the witness to somebody else's experience. We're witnessing our own life happening. Well, they are observing us, they're watching us, and from a place of not having to have a sense of having to beg for forgiveness, or being jealous of each other, or competing with each other, or hating on each other. That's not happening out there. That's only happening in our world. That's only happening here amongst us. And so from that place, they're watching us because we have free will. We have the ability to create our own stories, and we live in those stories, and we pass on those stories. And it's like, so every story that you're passing on today that is of your opinion, or on your judgment, or on your thought of, this is how, I want you to see it, or I want everybody to see it. Stop and pause in that and think, what is this for? Why do I want so many people to come to my moment, to come to where I am? And so also think that on the other side of that, if I use that energy, if I use all that desire, that passion that I have inside of me, to just light up today, to just not have a need to pass on, this so much of my personal opinions. If I could just today put a smile on my face, inside of my mask, and go deliver, some flowers, or I could just text somebody and just say, hey, I'm here if you need me. Just do something of the highest good, because that's how stars shine, real stars. We have the imposters. We have a lot of that imposter energy that's going to tell us how to live our lives, but another story for another time. This is the truth. Every shining star, every celebrity of this world exists within us. And we are all these amazing human beings who have the opportunity to do the right thing for the right reason, to be kind, and to to even send love, to even send, not have to always tell people, but to be able to even send love to those who may be on the naughty list, right? May be on that list, but we send loving messages of, I hope someday that you can see the opportunity to find happiness and joy. Or that if you could just truly know that if you could use your words, and you could just ask for that forgiveness, or you could say, I am sorry. But remember, those are precious words. I call them sacred statements. And for you yourself, it's like the past is dead, so there's things that we don't need to say that for, and we don't want to hold on to those energies. So I have Archangel Gabriel, that was around this morning, but was not in my meditation. So I did a meditation this morning, which is on Corrie School of Magic. Please feel free to also go enjoy the recording of that. The energy is very much infused. And so what we're being told is this is a good time to get in check with our emotions, and if they have us operating on the past, or if we're starting to be inspired to be pulled into that forward future self. And that this energy right now is about purification. It is about transformation. It is about truly being able to transform our thoughts, our words, and to be able to embrace that what people are feeling. And this is, I embrace all my feelings, all my feelings. And these are the cards. And I would say we're here to support and love each other. Sorry, I got a little bit of sage underneath my fingernail. I was burning beautiful lavender sage earlier. And so that whole sense of, embracing my feelings is that people shouldn't sometimes have to stifle those back or suppress them anymore. And when we're holding space for people, or we're not shaming people for having an emotional moment, or for having emotions in their personal experience. And that is us then rising up into the light and saying, we all have those moments, we all have those times, but we all have our versions and our reality and our truths that we live in. And so in that rising moment of being able to dream beyond the dream, is that if we take all of those emotions, if we if we cleanse our energy, we cleanse our words, if we cleanse our thoughts, if we spend time in that prayer and meditation, and we rise into the sense of hope, compassion, kindness, faith, those things, and we start to have even a little bit more of that for ourselves, self-respect, love, those things, if we can cleanse our own light, if we can move beyond our own darkness, if we can allow the light of us to lead the way instead of our shadows, then we truly will start to lead the way into the better world, into a new world. If the world will still have moments, but who we are, how we love, how we support, how we coexist is what makes the difference. Is truly what makes a difference. We have to move beyond the conditioning of the past stories. We have to change some of these behaviors. Our habits, our healthy habits, let's change that into living, instead of that whole terminology of a healthy habit. How about we look at, how about I choose to live a virtuous life? How about I find my way into a life of living in the light and choosing to do, instead of having to be right, I can be righteous. Instead of being a fear, instead of being feared, instead of having fear of being humbled, of somebody finding out a truth of me, how about I just live humble? How about I just live raw, real, be honest, be authentic, be myself? We are all unique. We all have something about us. We're all a part of the divine plan. We're not here to destroy, we're here to love. But we may be able to do that right here in our world, right where we live. But we have to remember that that still may not be happening on another side of the world. So we do not forget that we cannot stop at us, that this love has to spread from one end of the world to the other end of the world. And that means that, yes, we may have to do acceptance of it is what it is. We may have to send lots of hope and loving prayers, and we don't get to decide what a happy life looks like for somebody else. Just because it may not look like something that you may want to have in your life, or a way of life for you to live, doesn't mean that the people living their way of life is unhappy. Who are we to decide what somebody else's happy life looks like? Who are we to decide what we think is best for everybody? And who are we to think that we should all think alike? That's once again creating a world where we are nurturing the insecurities. That's not a world that I want to live in. So, for me, the place that I choose is to walk the path. I keep saying, I think Kate put me in her cards. This is my friend Kate Gong's cards, Women Supporting Women. And this is choices. I choose to live in truth, walking the path of truth. What is truth? Truth is the ability to look beyond, to look that there's this, there's that, and then there is me. There's this, there's that, and I'll open my mind. I will listen. Do you know what the new language is that we are yet to know here? Unconditional love. Unconditional love. That whole F you, you don't know nothing. You're this and you're that. That is not unconditional love. That is called judgment. That is called judgment. Who are we to judge each other? Who are we to decide for somebody else what their best life would look like? To live in my truth, to live in your truth, is to choose, instead of all of that we're projecting out there. Let's do the cleansing, the healing, the loving inside of here. Let's return to the way home. Let's live a virtuous life, a righteous life, instead of a need to be right life, or creating unhealthy habits that we're convincing ourselves that they're happy. The obsessiveness, to be obsessed. Let's start to move beyond all that. Let's choose to live in the light of listening to the sounds of silence. And in the sounds of silence, we will hear the beautiful singing, the beautiful messages that are coming from the divine, that are encouraging and inspiring us as they have been observing and telling us that the way to this new life is in unconditional love. And finding our way home to oneness, breaking the cycles, having patience, liberty, setting ourselves free, patience, kindness, compassion, so that we can return to that sense of oneness. For we are all interconnected. And the beautiful Metatron stepping in to remind us of the whole interconnected world that we live in, this stellar world, that what if it's not, what if you're not the only species? What if we're not the only people? And what if it's not all about you? What if it's about so much more? What if it is about so much more? Mother Earth, she don't need you. She can take care of herself, but she appreciates if we can love her as much as we love the rest of the world. And so my card from my deck that will be coming up, they're hard to see because they're just in pictures right now. This is the beautiful, I say she reminds me of the beautiful Actual, medicine woman. And so, but that's not exactly who she is. It's hard to see, but this is her. And above her head, she has a golden watering can. And no, it wasn't planned that there was a silver watering can over my head. That was not planned. And there's a beautiful face from above looking in on her. And then there's darkness, and then there's the beautiful light. And she's watering and planting the seeds of her dreams, being inspired to start to accept the beautiful love, the unconditional love that is always sprinkling, watering, fueling, filling us. Because that world out there, the God consciousness, it doesn't stop loving us, stop accepting us. It doesn't say, I'm sorry, you're not good enough for me, or that you're the wrong kind of belief system for me. It doesn't do that. It accepts all. It accepts all. We are worthy. We're entitled to our feelings. We're entitled to our emotional stories. We are not entitled to hurt another. We are not entitled to cause and to inflict pain upon another. We have the ability because of free will. But that cost of those moments, you may still be trying to justify and defend them right now. But in the end, when all goes silent, when you have to come home to hear, those moments are moments that we then have to start to purify as we reel it all back in. So as we return to the light and as we return to the love, supporting each other as us in our world support one another in helping to be a part of the bigger picture, the bigger cause. This is Kate Gongas. Soul Seeker's Journey is her Facebook page and her website. Amazing work, amazing woman, and a dear friend of mine. So I invite you, and this is Corrie Thorne, and this is my work that'll soon be out in January, as my oracle cards will be coming to purchase my book. more than existing. And this is your message, that you are here to more than just exist. And right now, in this day, when we are experiencing some of the, for some people, some of their darkest days, there is a seed of hope. There are seeds planted, and a new day will come. And I truly believe in magic and miracles, because I know with all the synchronicity moments I have experienced, you just can't make this shit up. That what I have seen, and I actually have a book called that, what I have seen, what I have witnessed, what I know to be true in my heart, that I have seen beautiful things happen in the most difficult times that should never have been able to happen, but it did. I have witnessed miracles because I take action towards always walking the middle road, towards always walking towards that light. Never stop walking. Never stop believing. And never believe that you are here to live in the dark. You are here to more than exist. Much love. Merry Christmas. Season's greetings. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever it is for you, whatever your seasons are that's coming up, whatever it may be. Spend time in prayer and in meditation, and spend time with self, and reach out in the ways that you can. And this is not our new normal. This is not our new normal. Do not lose hope and faith that the new days will leave us masked, hidden, hiding, or voiceless. We will rise. Much love.